never be at Madrid brilliant stuff.
Okay.
How they are looking into the future and they are building process now. Mika was a junior Khalifa, in charge of Madrid in terms of youth planning, and the purchasing of some of the best talent all across Europe. We'll get into that. But just before I go, there's an ardent listener. Hasi, Yeshoyi, most especially on us on the tactical board. I'm your friend of Junior Pogba, or Akrokere. Ibia would see me now, see how the school now, and then I would see on the 12th of October. It's Minia Junior Pogba. Happy birthday to you and everybody that listens to us, everybody across every other platform, even on the podcast out here. So celebrate you. I would happy birthday to you. We hope so very soon we can meet each other and then make merry. Which, even before we go into Madrid's plan with Junior Khalifa, killing Luton Mbappe, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo Goes, Eduardo Camavinga, and Federico Valverde. Education is something that is very, very, very important. Education in school at the it can be something that I always see with Monsa, something that can be informal. Any form of craft be any is very important. And then Carlo Ancelotti Konikrum in Parma, Italy, and in the University of Parma, he has been awarded an honorary doctorate, and it shows you how much of a top person he is from the job as a Real Madrid coach, a Juma Waya Honum, and even his personal life. Personally, what I admire about Carlo Ancelotti, how I always describe him as a stabilizer. When you describe managers with just specific words, the kind of job he does in stabilizing almost every place, and especially with Real Madrid. Now, Madrid seem to have completed the long-term extension of a midfield for him. When Jude Bellingham is just this season, they're not joining him.
Osanze 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very long-term contract given his age. My extension of a Eduardo Camavinga from now to 2028, an extra 5 for Eduardo Camavinga, El Honor. Of course, Uruguayan Federico Valverde saying a contract extension, El Honor. The average age of these players is somewhere around 21, 22. Taking into context the decimal places. Very, very young players. And Arabia, anytime I talk about how Madrid have gone on to go through Europe and even South America to get some of the best players to show up on the midfield on attack now, it is the job of Junior Khalifa. Consistency. If you remember the story of how Rodrigo Goes is celebrating the 18th birthday, now Junior Khalifa moving straight from Madrid to go to Brazil to go and celebrate the birthday with him and reassure the Bushia for say Madrid is the place for a young boy. It tells you, say they know. So in the modern day, this time in football, and this is okay. Now player need do 26, 27, 28. Now this is even if you can make an investment on them, something that can go wrong with other things, no. That's a way to make a former, but you do that job and you do it quickly. But it is brilliant job. Say Madrid are extending your contract. No? Apart from just a contract extension on the part of Madrid, they are brilliant. No? On the part of these two players, very, very important. And if you look at the Madrid of the Real Madrid, the dynamics of Real Madrid midfield, and where Jude Bellingham stands, he's getting all the products. I'm sure because he signed his contracts now, he's probably getting more money than Eduardo Camavinga and Federico Valverde. Now, immediately they realize that yes, attention comes, and they need a fair balance and level-headed people. They've extended the two boys on Musika Sema form. They've given them a contract extension. They've given them more money and then much more stability. Again, the most important thing, they reported over 900 million in terms of a possible buyout clause for either of these two players. A lot of people are reporting 1 billion, but it's in that range, 900 million to about 1 billion. With the release clause of Federico Valverde and Eduardo Camavinga. I know, say, Luka Modric, a lot of conversations around Luka Modric. I want to share. By the end of this season, that contract extension may not come. Of course, for Toni Kroos also, it's just a matter of time for us to see that Toni Kroos ever hang up in the boot or Real Madrid. These two players definitely will be going. And if you look at how Carlo Ancelotti wants to play in football now, it's a fair balance. You see, this season, Carlo Ancelotti getting the team in a 4-1-2-1-2. But even in that nominal formation, And the versatility of these two players now, and they're very, very important. Eduardo Camavinga can play as a makeshift right back or left back, anywhere you want to play him. In the last game, Momoboy, Orienchimeni went to play as a centre back. Eduardo Camavinga went on to play as a makeshift deep liner number 6, single 6, in that 4-1-2-1-2 as the lone base of that diamond. For Federico Valverde, he has played as a right winger before in several times when Real Madrid have the ball. Without the ball, he slots in to come and play as an extra left-sided CM or Madrid team. And everybody speaks about the defensive exploit of Federico Valverde. But how many times now we say Federico Valverde actually signed a tender boat maybe for Madrid? How many times now setting up goals? Whilst he's known for the defensive side of the job, he is also brilliant in the offensive third. So in one player, Madrid are getting complete midfielders 4 times in that team. So athleticism, Federico Valverde beats me, Orienchimeni is as athletic as any other midfielder in that team. Eduardo Camavinga, super athletic was that team. Very, very combative on FIFA. In fact, the king of athleticism and in the mental aspect of the game in the center of the park, Jude Bellingham in that Madrid team. If you have these players that own qualities of every top midfielder you can ever speak of, the technical ability on the ball. And you know, I'm reading an article of how South America are consistently able to produce some of the best technical midfielders in recent times. And if you go back, you will see them. Some of the best, specifically press-resistant midfielders. So I'm receiving ball, and they don't care under what pressure they are receiving the ball. They'll receive the ball and they'll play it forward. They'll choose better passing options. Federico Valverde, Eduardo Camavinga, any Ejumamaya with FIFA, in addition to Jude Bellingham and of course Orienchimeni, it has been such a brilliant job. And I know say Madrid progress is going to go on in leaps and bounds in the next coming months. I promise you, in parts, Manchester United situations. And you see, it's something that consistently with the margin cost of, and I always want to look at it. I believe say Eric Ten Hag is a part of Manchester United current issues. And any players then go.
Honestly, a problem.
Yes. And the last time I catch you said the first thing how the teams ever this time. Ono Ten Hag said, whilst he is from the school of thought of the Johan Cruyff 4-3-3 positional play, he is also much more interested in transitional play. More like Luis Enrique, more direct, but then still honed in positional play. The problem with Eric Ten Hag is every time that I've seen his teams, especially in English Premier League, in 4-3-3 or 4-2-2-1, any nominal formation, it is too direct. Almost every time you ball in Biano, there is nobody to control the tempo of the attack. And every time, me all the players are saying, say Anthony was that team with the threats that you're expecting to get from a winger, wide winger, 1v1, say on dribble or beyond take you be on, you hardly see it. But if you look into this team, Anthony has been very, very important in terms of tempo control. So watch Anthony. Anytime the ball goes out wide, or no Ojina ball also chain to slow down the attack and know when to make the next decision. In a team like Manchester United, who will be Bruno Fernandes, you're very erratic in terms of playing the ball forward. It is always consistent that you will get a lot of turnovers against you. Now, when you win the ball, you don't necessarily have to go on other turnovers over and over again. There are times where United have to take their time. So the next thing I'm mentioning, Eric Ten Hag issues in terms of transition and how he wants to play his game. And a show in a kind of players that almost every time on the team, Rashford has been testament to that. Apart from that tactical switch, I think Eric Ten Hag keeps on holding on to players who are failing in a United team. You see, Rashford is a brilliant player. The prospects put it way better. He has shown in the United colours as a top player. Last season, most of fun, he was the one that came in. It's a lack of form, And I think one of the right things that Eric Ten Hag has done in recent times is say, many more games in here, Obodu Baby takes him off and then brings on Alejandro Garnacho. And I've seen that Garnacho has been giving even more to Manchester United team, than our branch friend Marcus Rashford.
Sancho, sorry, Rashford above form.
Yeah.
It's in Kauma Garnacho and more. Yes, I know about it.
See, Rashford, there were issues with the form. It's Oma Garnacho, so more time. That's necessarily say, oh yes, Bobby. Because when you need free mukra, but Garnacho should also get more time.
And I said one Casano.
Yeah.
Would you to say? If you would be 70 minutes, we do a nephew.
Yeah.
Not Garnacho.
Yeah.
So it means only a new
No, so what I'm trying to say is that so about 70 minutes before the last 3 games, not NC. Rashford will consistently play to the end, even when I'm losing games. When you go away to Bayern Munich, other games they're very difficult. That's what happened. But in the last 3 games, we'll try to say, oh yes, Adrian. It may be 80-10 sometimes. It's me 85 now, 5 minutes, but it's me 75.
It depends on the game. Oh, sometimes you're not fair to coaches.
Okay.
Ampo, you're not fair to coaches.
Okay.
Say be our opportunity now only Ten Hag it na say. And I will be sano. Only didn't come on. And I will be sano questions be why Ebia Oma Marcus Rashford about Ebian 80 minutes. Normal Garnacho about 10 minutes. Oma explanation. And Ebia so transit about Papa any reasons are they advantage about 10 minutes. I'm away about 80 minutes now. Very, very tangible. But sometimes you are any privy to and you may be a Kosovo, you know, team company at the need to know. Yeah, so because don't forget, we are talking about a player last season was the best player for Manchester United. If you are this season, yes, me no doing. Send the form not perform. But so you Ten Hag. Let's be to say Marcus Rashford no. A bad game power to bench him. No man cannot do Bobo.
Bianca said bench Marcus Rashford.
I understand.
No,
but also
Norwich different thing.
Different.
No, also bench him. Man can bench him.
Tio, the moment holding the form, it means that I'm trying to only form. So drop him.
No, that's not what it means.
I know be only form. I won't drop him now.
It's a player any form. I don't just say I'll drop him. No.
Not there.
We can talk about very specific example of Mihailo Modric, young player, no uniform, performing with Chelsea. But look at how Mauricio Pochettino managed in the last few games. So Timani started just to build his confidence. Tinyame can say Rashford has quality, to do things better than Alejandro Garnacho. Let him play. But also inside games, make sure say you give enough balance to the point. Alejandro Garnacho because of I don't know what form so he can also play. It sends message to another Rashford. He did it in the last game. Richardo and change.
If you want to convince me, it's convincing me.
Okay. As someone make a simple conversation.
Okay.
Rashford, elbow games every time. In the last 3 games, everything has started doing that. And I made comment and said that is what he's supposed to be doing. And that's exactly Neymar saw here. Look at Casemiro. Casemiro comes into games, loses his head, gets red card consistently. But anytime Casemiro is available, he starts the games. As a coach, sometimes you need to send messages to these players. Same for Mauricio Pochettino and Raheem Sterling. Their times were dropping about 2-3 times, and you saw it in the game against Burnley. On who you coach, my job as an analyst is also to analyze on who decisions will take. For those that watch me, it's here to allow me to get through some of these things.
Oh yeah, your questions.
I am this.
But I say,
anytime.
I will say Ghana Saturdays.
Yes, Saturday.
And you say a lot of questions. And today. And some and memo so. Nah, wako. And me personal observation, to be honest.
As a United analyst, I told you it means push you. I know it was funny emotional. But anytime you be United, I said, yeah,
they didn't know about
this is me cover.
They didn't know about which.
For sure.
Some are doing a meeting.
And I Chelsea for on which one the sense make catch.
But me personal observation that my here, in fact, Marcus Rashford no.
Yeah.
Who said that there's a problem? I ran to know a problem.
On one is a person.
Yes. Either say only coach Ten Hag in the war, or maybe a hotline near coffee and buy only comfortable.
Why?
That's how I see it. Because Marcus Rashford are minimum. Yes, players are to lose form. But so what now? Or Tiboa, what was a branch of line you were tin hopa cabo with ye? As I catch him a passing on passing. Those were the board ben one was or maybe at the hand this is yeah. Players not say complaints only players need maybe sort of and also yeah maybe she says a player young one abroad
yeah.
Me young found Saturday.
Me personally, I don't think that Marcus Rashford any Ten Hag and I say was not no problem. I think they only as
I
make I say me other side and they say usually when players lose confidence, they tend to overdo. It's ideally so confidence or best to the ball through to Hosman. He may not have a problem with him. But on the right side, say me go, say me assistant Emma. So I'm trying to do more to try and impress somebody, which is not supposed to be done. Once Onyan the confidence back, he will do things that he's supposed to do, and then the results will come. Nyami had on Saturday, I'll continue from Andre Onana. Okay. And why I think that he's still a very good shot stopper. There are just some issues with United in T and it's me concerned.
Facha me dabe and sometimes.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, the baby room can
fine. But Chelsea wasn't almost make a Chelsea. I said, make us what is wrong with Richard. I said, they be a mechanism now. What could I say? He be a minimum. Who can't say now? No, I can't one idea with you.